Should be asking the fans to pay by the goal at Falkirk Park these days. There have been 18 in just 3 league games here before this one. And after Richie Foran had given a hint of what was to come, the home fans were able to sit back and enjoy a treat against a Falkirk side that had taken a point from Rangers last week. But when Jim Hamilton acrobatically swept Motherwell ahead in almost balletic style, it was an indication that anything could happen. A magnificent finish from Hamilton. Matt Glennon left stunned. If Terry Butcher was to add a chapter on this season to his book, no one would believe it. Maradona's hand of God we can accept, close to bleeding to death we can understand, but 4-4 with Celtic, 5-4 defeat by Dundee United and 5 here, no publisher would buy that. You might as well add Quidditch and Dragons. Motherwell were breathing fire when Richie Foran added a second. The ball was allowed to travel a long way, leaving the Falkirk defence less than impressive. Foran's finish was cute and clever. This was clearly not Falkirk's day. They were unable to hold on to possession. They were made to pay just a minute into the second half when that man Foran struck again. Again, the keeper blameless, the defence culpable, the finish crisp and clean. At 3-0, it would have been easy for Motherwell to close it down and hold on for a comfortable win, but that's just not their style. And anyway, Foran was looking for a hat-trick. Matt Glennon's heroics provided no more than a temporary reprieve for the visitors, who were being overrun in midfield and overwhelmed in defence. And it was also a day when the Motherwell players were having a go from everywhere. Sean Fagan claims this is the best goal he has ever scored. Not difficult, since he's only ever scored 3, but he'll play for a long time before he does score a better one than this. There can be little consolation for Falkirk after a performance and result like this. They can only hope they return to some kind of form in their cup tie at Celtic Park on Wednesday. Let's face it, they'll have to, or perhaps be on the end of a similar result to their 8-1 defeat of last season. And again, Falkirk were finding it hard to clear their lines. By now, the message had been clearly received that any shooting chance was worth taking, and that seemed to be the view of Scott McDonald, who might have crossed on another day. More than 20 minutes remaining, the message loud and clear. McDonald rifling the ball home from a difficult angle. By now, John Hughes would have been incandescent with rage. He refused to go into the dressing room after the game, in case he said something he would regret. His players were poor, but there were brief snatches of positive play from them. However, Graham Smith was barely troubled by this attack. Alan Gow got free of the defence. The shot too close to the keeper. Steve O'Donnell's follow-up lacked conviction. They have to hope this was a one-off and continue to believe. Darryl Duffy had perhaps their best chance at the death. It wasn't to be Falkirk's day. It's unlikely we'll get a 0-0 game involving Motherwell this season.
Doesn't justify Matty Glenn as a goalkeeper. He's brilliant normally, but I think everything Motherwell hit on the day went in for us, very luckily.
First part, Terry?
Is at the moment, yeah. I mean, we're scoring goals for fun, and for once we kept the clean sheet, although Graham Smith had to work hard at the end. Yeah. I think concentration just went there, but the lads had never really been 5-0 up before. A lot of them had never won by 5 goals, so it was a pretty new experience for them.
The team is playing so well at the moment, goals coming from a lot of areas as well. Yeah,
it's good to spread the goals around the team. We're not really reliant upon Scott McDonald or Jim Hamilton now. Jim's got a bad injury now, he'll miss the next couple of matches, but you know, he does really well to adjust his feet there and put it in the back of the net. He's really doing well for Jim Hamilton, and obviously he'll be sorely missed with that ankle injury.
Yeah, unfortunately he had to go off, but Richie Foran weighing in with a couple, Terry.
Yeah, good run through the middle. We say put the balls in the channels, but I said to Craigs afterwards, Stevie Craig, and you know, just put the ball down the middle, and Richie Foran puts it in. After that run, Richie was too tired to get across the other side for the kickoff, but he certainly was on the spot with that one, and that was a wonderful finish. He kept it down really well, and he does like a mazy celebration after he scores.
Possibly the best of the 5, Terry, this one?
Yeah, it's of his career, Sean. As David said, he's only scored 3 goals. That was the best by far, but it's a really good strike. I think after it struck, he wasn't too sure if it had gone in the back of the net, but he does well here, Sean Fagan, to release Scott McDonald. A poor touch wide, but a great finish right across the keeper there. And it's one of those days when, most things did go in.
They must just be full of confidence at the moment, the players.
Yeah, they are full of confidence. We've still got a lot of players out injured, so
Yeah.
it'll be a nice situation when they all come back, because I don't know how they'll get back into the team, because youngsters are coming in doing really well. The average age of the team has plummeted since we lost Phil O'Donnell and since we lost Jim Hamilton as well. So the youngsters are certainly doing the business.
Do you want teams to be scared coming to Fir Park?
I want teams to be very scared coming to Fir Park, but the way that we're playing at the moment, we are making a lot of chances. We've scored in every game, and I hope that's not the kiss of death. But we have scored in every game. We're making a lot of chances. We're keeping it tight at the back now, whereas before, like Celtic and Dundee United were shipping goals. I think there's only one team that has conceded fewer goals than us. So we need to make sure that we do get it right both ends. But at one end, certainly we are getting it right at the moment.
And it's hugely entertaining, Andy.
Yeah, it is, and all roads should lead to Fir Park on Saturday. Motherwell against Hibs, so sure to be a good number of goals there. But I think Motherwell's certainly entitled to be very pleased with the performance, but I think that's just half the story. I mean, some of the defending from Falkirk was shambolic, and that was why we saw John...
Very well. Gus McPherson's got them well drilled. It's a good, tight, solid unit. They're scoring goals for fun. They're up there, second place, just behind Ross County. So it was one of the worst possible draws from our point of view. We'd rather be playing SPL opposition, and we will certainly treat St Mirren with that respect. But like I say, we've got a few out injured, but confidence is high, and we've had this sort of situation before last year when we got to the final, when we had to go away to very difficult grounds and get results, and we certainly have to do that tomorrow night.
Yeah, that could be the tie of the round. Here's Julian.
Thanks, Jim. A couple of questions here for the gaffer. What would you like to put to him?
Well, first of all, I thought we played very well on Saturday, although it wasn't our best performance of the season, strangely enough, but a big thumbs up to Sean Fagan for a great goal and an all-round brilliant performance. I think, though, that the nice problem Terry will have once we get all our fit players, all the players back fully fit in the team, will be a great, he'll be very, very spoilt for choice. And what's his ambitions as regards top half? Will it be Europe?
Top half of the top half, then?
Yes.
You're looking at top 3?
Do we have the ambition?
Right.
Is Terry's ambition to go that high?
That's one question. Will it be top 3, or is it aiming for top 6? Ricky?
I'm wondering how Terry feels when the press constantly considering him to be favourite for every single job that's come up just now, despite the fact he's just signed a new contract and he's clearly happy where he is. It just seems malicious to me.
Couple of good points, sir. Couple of good questions for the gaffer.
Yeah, let's pick up on the last one first, Terry. Obviously, the most recent club you've been linked with is Bristol City. Is there anything in that?
No, nothing at all, and Plymouth as well. It's nice to be put forward, and it's just the press as far as we're concerned. We don't hear anything. You sort of pick the papers up, or people will sort of ring you up and say, well, what about this club and what about that club, and you know nothing about it. So you've got to sort of fend it off and just make sure that we can concentrate on doing our job and doing it well.
And obviously George Burley's raised expectations at Hearts, and listening to that supporter there, you've raised expectations at Motherwell. They're now talking Europe. Yeah,
is that tea they're drinking down there, or is it whiskey? Because just get a grip of yourselves, lads. I think like we said, we've overshot the last 2 years really with the squad that we've had, and if we can get everybody back fit, then we have a very good squad. Although quite a few of the boys are on loan here until January, so we'll have to wait and see what happens to them. But if you've got a good squad, you've got good competition for places. At this moment, we've still got a good squad, but the competition isn't there because of the injuries.
Terry, stay with us.